G'day. Today we're going to build one of the rigs we use for most inshore species, nannagai, red emperor, rosey jobfish, stuff like that. Bit of flame snapper as well at times. Basically it's a paternoster rig with crimps, three-way swivels. First we'll show you the components we use. So this particular one we're using 1.5mm line. So we're using a crimp to suit. It's a 1.5mm crimp. You're going to need a few of them. Today we've opted for an 11/0 circle. It's a mustard style 39960, and that's good for nannagai, Goldband snapper, pearl perch, snapper, all those sort of species. And we also have the three-way swivel. Now with these three-way swivels, there's two ways they can go. It can be like that, it can be like that. Now if you keep them on the upper side, your snood will tend to wrap less around your mane, whereas if you have them this way, they tend to definitely tangle a lot more. So we always have them up. That'll go up to the next one, that'll go down to the bottom, and your lead, obviously, your dropper off to the side. Before you start, you want to make sure you have the right dye. These are the dyes that come in the crimpers. This one's an F, so that's no good to us today. We have the G in here, which suits the 1.5mm line. You'll also want to make sure you're adjusted up here properly so you get the correct amount of squish on the crimp. That's best done with trial and error and pulling on crimps after you're done with scales and the likes. Pretty much you want to get maximum crimpage without damaging the line and or allowing the line to slip. So once you've set that, then you're pretty much good to go. We've measured our mains out for the paternoster, which just so happened to be the length of the crimping tool, which is around 700mm in this case. And for the snoods for your hooks, I like to go half, so we measure that, we just pull that in half, and we just essentially cut that. That becomes our 4 snoods for our hooks. So to start, we will start with a crimp. Slide your crimp on the line. This is our hook. Goes on, slide it through, pull it down. Ideally you want to create a little bit of a loop here, and you also want your tag end. Once they're in the crimpers, you want that crimp to hang out each side, on both sides of the crimp tool. So then once you're crimped, you'll have a flare on both sides of the crimp. If you crimp right up to that, it creates a sharp edge, and the line will actually wear through and it'll break very, very soon. Whereas if you've got the flare there, they'll catch hundreds of fish and you won't have any issues at all. So we're going to do a 4-hook one today. So we'll just replicate that 4 times. Sometimes I find it's easier to have the bit of a loop there to begin with, and then you can just pull it down to where you need. Crimp that. So we have the flare each end of the crimp. We also have the little tag end hanging out. You can leave them long if you like, and you can trim them off later. It doesn't really matter. You just want to have that there so you know you've got all the line through the crimp. So next we'll attach our three-way swivels. So with the swivel, we've got the three-way swivel, that's going to be pointing up, that's going to be obviously pointing down, and that's your snood for your hook, the one that comes off the side. So essentially we get another crimp. Put that through that side. Same deal, tag end, put it in. Pull that loop down till it's uniform. Crimp away. The good thing about crimps are it's all uniform, whereas knots, you could have a knot that doesn't pull down properly, it's not quite right, something happens, and it's not repeatable. A crimp's repeatable every time, and you'll have a lot less failures as a result. So now that we have the hooks crimped up on their respective snoods, we'll start with our main, and we'll pick this one here. This one's going to be the bottom where you're going to have your breakaway to your lead, so it'll hang. Lead will be say 1 metre, 2 metres, depending on where in the water column you actually want your baits. So we'll start there. And we're on the top side, of course. Okay, now that we have the one done, we've got the tag end, it's another crimp, and essentially the next one, of course, we're attaching to the bottom. So we attach that to the bottom. Another main, attach the crimp. Essentially we're going to the top of that one. Push the tag through, pull the loop uniform, and crimp that. Get another crimp. This one here is going to be on the bottom because we're on our way up the rig. A bit of preload. You can also crimp these with a hand crimper if you don't have access or facilities to a bench crimper, but you also still want to leave the flare on the edge of the crimps with a hand crimper. Now, once you've got your last hook crimped on, you need to attach a bit of line here, or a means to fix it to your main line, your rod and your reel, whether it be electric or handheld. What I like to do is I get a longer piece of line. This one here is about 1 metre. Essentially, put a crimp on, crimp that on. On the other end, you just simply put a crimp, and just a normal heavy duty swivel, and we attach our main line to that. You can do a loop and then attach snap swivels, but I just find this is easier for me, and trying to get snap swivels in very big ratings is quite expensive at times. So essentially you're left with your rig. You can just use a few bread ties to keep it in position and pack them into Ziploc bags or something like that. And then when you go to fish, it's just as simple as attaching the line to the main line, undo the bread ties, and the rig just falls down and essentially it doesn't tangle. You just put a sinker breakaway on, attach your baits, and ideally catch some fish. Any questions, just leave a comment. Thank you.